What's going on, everybody? This is Lord Stark 2K, and I'm back today doing a deck tech of my Atla Palani Nest Tender Commander deck. So Atla Palani is a 2/3 for 1, a red, a green, and a white, and for 2 mana you can tap it to create an egg token, creature with Defender, and whenever an egg you control dies, you flip the top cards of your library until you reveal a creature card, and then that creature goes onto the battlefield for free. So the whole goal of this deck is to create a bunch of eggs and sacrifice them to get a bunch of powerful creatures out for less mana than what they cost, and without really interacting with the stack. You just sacrifice your creature, and then your creatures can come in without being countered. So it's a pretty powerful deck, and so I'm going to go over the land base. There is 15 forests in this deck, 9 mountains, and my bad, I misspoke. 16 forests, 9 mountains, and 15 plains. For non-basic lands, there's a Castle Garenberg just to add 2 extra mana to cast creature spells if we need to. Command Tower, Myriad Landscape to go fetch out some basics. Mountain Valley, it's just a fetch land that comes in tapped, and then I don't have to pay the life. Floodplain, Rocky Tar Pit, and Grasslands. And then for land ramp, we have Rampant Growth, Secura Tribe Elder, Farseek, Kadama's Reach, Cultivate, Explosive Vegetation, and a Skyshroud Claim. All of these will just search for basic lands in some form, and then just put them onto the battlefield. And Cultivate, I think, puts 1 into our hand, but it's pretty good. You want a lot of land ramp in any deck. And then for just mana ramp, there's Soul Ring, Gruul Signet, Selesnya Signet, Commander Sphere, Boros Signet, and Arcane Signet. And then for enchantments, we have a Guardian Project. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under my control, I will draw a card because it won't have the same name as anything else because of how Commander works. Rhythm of the Wild, so all my creature spells I cast can't be countered if I need to cast those. And non-token creatures I control have Riot, so they enter the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter or haste. It's my choice whether that or what to give them. Anointed Procession doubles all the tokens I create. Really good with Atla Palani when you create egg tokens. So you pay 2 mana, create 2 egg tokens, and then you can just you get 2 creatures for 2 mana instead of 1 creature for 2 mana. Parallel Lives, same effect as Anointed Procession, where it doubles tokens. Doubling Season, it will double the tokens I create, and then if a +1/+1 counter would be put on, or any kind of counter would be put on a permanent, I put double that counters instead. And Ashnod's Altar, no, that's not even an enchantment, but that's a good segue into the next segment. For artifacts that aren't ramp, there is Ashnod's Altar, although this could be seen as ramp because I will sacrifice the eggs to add mana. It's just a sacrifice outlet. Swiftfoot Boots, so I can give Atla Palani Hexproof and Haste. Skull Clamp, so I can sacrifice my cards, or sacrifice my tokens to draw cards. Altar of Dementia, sack outlet. Phyrexian Altar, just another sack outlet. And Thornbite Staff, which is another sack outlet. A lot of sack outlets in this deck. For control, we have a Wrath of God, Swords to Plowshares, Krosan Grip, Wilt, and a Sundering Growth. Just a little control package to deal with problematic artifacts or enchantments. And then I can deal with a creature, or I could just board wipe. And then for the creatures that we will be flipping into, There is a Verdant Sun's avatar. Every time a creature enters the battlefield under my control, I gain life equal to its toughness. Rook Egg. When it dies, put a 4/4 bird into play. And it is also an egg token. Well, it is an egg creature type, so when it dies, it will trigger Atla Palani. Avison, Angel of Hope. All my permanents are indestructible. Nullhide Ferox. It's 6/6 with hexproof, and I can't cast non-creature spells. But for 2 mana, Nullhide Ferox will lose all abilities, and any player can activate this ability. Zeptala Primal Dawn. It's a 4/8 with flying, double strike, vigilance, trample, and indestructible. Pretty powerful to flip into. Soul of the Harvest. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, draw a card. It's also a 6/6 with trample. Carnage Tyrant, a 7/6 with trample, hexproof, and can't be countered. The can't be countered part isn't really important because I should never be casting this, maybe 1 in 20 games. Eternal Witness. When it enters the battlefield, return target card from my graveyard to my hand. Ubras the Hidden. It's a 4/4 with creatures I control have haste. Creatures my opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Annex Harden in the Forge. It's just pretty much in this deck to give me more sacrifice fodder if I need to go that route. Anger. It's a 2/2 with haste, and as long as it's in my graveyard and I control a mountain, creatures I control have haste. Kinjali's Sungwing. Creatures enter the battlefield under my opponent's control tapped. Nestling Dragon. It's a 5/4 with flying. With whenever a land enters the battlefield, create a 0/2 Dragon Egg token with Defender, and when that Dragon Egg token dies, create a 2/2 Red Dragon token. Very, very, very good, especially with the amount of land ramp, and you just play a land for turn. I get a free egg, and I can still pay 2 mana and then have another egg and then sacrifice both of those. Pretty good. Nikia of the Old Ways. It will double all of my mana, and I can't cast non-creature spells. Gahalta Primal Hunger. It's a 12/12 with trample, but I can also cast it for 2 mana if I need to, because of it costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures I control. Void Winter pretty much stops my opponents from casting even converted mana cost spells. Seedborn Muse. Untap all permanents I control during each player's untap step. It That Betrays. It's an 11/11 with Annihilator 2, so whenever he attacks, defending player sacrifices 2 permanents, and then those 2 permanents, as long as they're not a non-token permanent, then I will get that card. Mysterious Egg. Just another egg. Dreamshaper Shaman. At the beginning of my end step, I can pay 2 and a red and sacrifice a non-land permanent. If I do, reveal cards from the top of my library till I reveal a non-land permanent card, and put the rest onto the battlefield, or put that onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of my library in a random order. Very, very good. It's another sacrifice outlet, and it will let me flip into 2 permanents, which is pretty good if I sacrifice an egg. Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. When you cast it, exile 2 permanents. Probably won't happen very often. It's a 10/10 with indestructible, and when it attacks, defending player exiles the top 20 cards of their library. Very, very powerful. Dragon Egg. Just a dragon. Or, not a dragon. Well, I guess it is dragon, but it's just an egg. Gives me another egg. And finally, Blightsteel Colossus. 11/11 trample, infect, indestructible. So if you've liked this video, please leave a like and subscribe down below, and I will see you in the next one.